Hey, what's up everyone? Hope you're well. Now today we're going to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart. Okay, so confession time. I am a massive map geek. I love maps. Alright, ever since picking up Lord of the Rings, Narnia, The Hobbit, seeing all those little footsteps across the maps where the characters went and their epic journeys, and seeing someone else's imagination in map form with all the trees and mountains, rivers, coasts, names. Love it. Absolutely love it. In fact, if I pick up a book and it's got a map in it, that book is instantly getting 1 star more than it might have done. That's how much I love maps. So today I thought I would show you a little bit behind the scenes and show you how I create my maps, as I have been doing since I was about yay high. And I'll show you a couple of the maps that I've worked on in the past and show you exactly how I create them, do a little time lapse. It'll be fun. And by the end of it, if you're not a map geek now, you will be by the end. Now, I haven't really shown anyone this folder, really, ever, especially not you guys, but this is my folder of important random stuff from my book and music careers, actually. And it's full of loads of different things. Well, mostly maps, but we'll get to those if I can find them. Guess what I found? Yeah, so for those of you who know my first ever book written, right, this was the original cover sort of concept art. No, I lie. No. This envelope right here, right, this envelope. This is the original concept. Hopefully you can see that. I'll get a better picture as well so you can see it. I've got better over recent years. But anyway, maps. This is one of the first maps I ever drew. These aren't for any books that you can actually buy. These are from the ones that I did when I was 11 or 12, and for books that will never be published. So this is how that map evolved, became a little neater, and since then I've been just drawing maps every now and again, whenever I feel like it, but also mainly for when I write books. The earlier version of that one. So I'm going to just break it all down for you, show you how exactly I do it, show you the steps in the process, and a couple of hints and tips as well. So, without any further ado, let's draw a map. So the first stage of any map drawing process is, of course, figuring out what your world looks like. Now this is quite a fun process. You might have planned a couple of bits of the plot, so you know that your characters are either going to be journeying or staying in the same place. You might have separate characters all around the world, so you'll need to sort of design little microcosms. So once you've got a basic idea of whether your world needs to be big, large, varied, or just sort of the same throughout, you can start to draw it. And this is probably one of the funnest processes because you can just let your imagination roam. So that's what I did a couple of months ago for the Heart of Stone. So as you can see, pretty basic. I've just let my imagination roam wild while I had a pen in my hand and just literally just sort of scribbled around until I've got sort of coastlines that I like, areas, and then I start to put in the borders and rough shapes of the countries, throw in some names here and there. You'll see just like a load of random, just kind of scribbled names about ideas which then change. Main features, so we've got a big old mountain range in the middle there, we've got a little cove that I use in my book, and we've got this massive whirlpool out in the middle of the sea, which you have to read the book to find out about. And that's it, you just let your mind go mental. If it's not right, you get another piece of paper and you just keep scribbling until you've got a shape and lines and names that you're pretty much pleased with. Boom. So now we're going to focus in on a specific area. So let's say this is the main area where your plot is based. So for me, that was a place called Heartland, which you can see in this little fancy blob. So all you do is exactly the same as you did before. You just start scribbling on a piece of paper. So I took that rough blob, made it into this, and then did the same thing. Just, put in a few more landscapes, place names, rivers, mountains, more coastlines, some more islands, things like that. And that helped me plan when I was planning out my novel, at the same time as kept me on track while I was actually writing it. So you can see a couple of dots there for the path my character takes. So then I could sort of put things in and know that, they are halfway up the country or they're heading east, west, etc. And that's how you then start fleshing out into this. That's right. So this is sort of Mark III map. All right, and this is the stage where you start to get towards actually something that you're going to put in a book. So this is what we're going to be working on or working from later. A lot of the detail here has actually come from writing the book as well. So depending on how you like to write, I would be getting sort of here in the plot and then go, I need names for these places. So then I'd scribble that in and it sort of grows as you write, which is absolutely perfectly fine. Now we come on to the exciting part, which is taking that second or third draft and actually making it look professional.
Firstly, shut the curtains. Then you'll need some pens, some paper, and a light box.
Or if you're like most people and don't have a light box, use an iPad.
Hit display and brightness, go onto auto lock, hit never. Then you just go to something like notes, whack up the brightness, overlay your draft map and a fresh piece of paper.
So after we've done the outline, it's time to do the details, things like coastlines, marshes, trees, mountains, more rivers, plains, the lot. So the last thing you can do to really make your landmass stand out is, of course, shade the edges. Once you're done and your map is looking amazing, like mine is, it's now time to actually digitize it. So whack it in a scanner, or if you don't have a scanner, you can take a top-down image using a phone or a really good camera. So what I'm going to do now is mess around with it on the computer, clean it up, sharpen it. I'm also going to overlay sort of a texture on it as well, which is something you can do. Now, if you want to be clever and have a natural approach, is you can actually tea stain, like I've done with this one. Boil a kettle, make a cup of tea, don't drink the tea, put this in a flat dish, pour the tea over it, leave it for about 20 minutes to half an hour. Then you just leave it out to dry and you get this, which you can then scan. Or another idea is going onto Google Images, finding a paper texture, printing that texture off, then actually using that over the iPad and draw your map straight onto that, then scan that. That's what we've done with this map, just drawn it straight on to a texture off the internet. Obviously make sure you have the rights and don't go stealing stuff, even if it is just a map for the front of your book. I've even done things like mix up a little bit of beetroot into that tea. I've baked it in the oven, I've ironed it, I've steamed it, I've crumpled it up and ironed it out again. You can do anything you want to give your map a bit of authenticity, reality, and to make it look damn good. And that is it. That is how easy it is to make a map for your fantasy books. And I'm going to carry on now with the world, and I'll be posting pictures of that later on this week. But in the meantime, I hope that was useful. I hope you're now going to be a big map geek like me and be drawing maps all the time. So yeah, expect to see a lot more books with a lot more maps, even if it's not fantasy. It'd be fun in like a romance book. Anyway, that's it from me. Have a great rest of the day. Catch me on Twitter at Bengali or Facebook Bengali Author or at www.bengali.com. Cool. See you soon. Bye.